Good afternoon. A member of the local Fish and Game Association has had his range membership temporarily suspended, and some handguns have been seized while police investigate a stray bullet that struck a home on Friday. The bullet passed through the roof on a mobile home, and as Terry Vogt reports, the incident has prompted one member of council to renew calls to relocate the shooting range as quickly as possible.
A really odd coincidence that this occurred 4 days before we present to council.
Police Inspector Colin Catonio says after no stray bullet incidents in 2012, it's unusual they would have one just days before a joint committee on the gun range was scheduled to hand down its annual report.
We treat it as a criminal matter in terms of any time a stray bullet strikes a house, that implies that there's been a careless use of a firearm, and so we approach it from that regard.
Friday afternoon, a bullet passed through the roof of Rudy Nordine's mobile home. Luckily, no one was injured. Police haven't laid any charges, but they have seized several handguns that were being used at the Fish and Game shooting range on Friday. The handgun portion of the range has also been temporarily closed while the investigation is being carried out. The Fish and Game Association has also provided police with a copy of the surveillance video, but aren't commenting on what it may or may not show.
I don't want to mess with the police's investigation. We felt it appropriate to suspend that member's range access. We felt it appropriate to close range 5 on a temporary basis at least. So we felt those were the right moves to make.
The latest stray bullet incident is the first one police have investigated since improvements were made to the shooting range over a year ago. City Councillor Farron Ellis says it reinforces his belief that it's time to fast-track efforts to relocate the range.
Pending further investigation, we've got a very high probability that at least one bullet did leave that range.
City officials say monitoring the range and community education will continue. In the meantime, the Fish and Game Association has hired a consultant to look at relocating the range farther from residential areas. Council is scheduled to receive that consultant's report at the end of March. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
In 2012, police received 88 calls of possible gunshots, but there were no complaints of bullet strikes in residential areas and no bullets recovered. One person was charged for hunting gophers north of a residential area. And the Boys and Girls Club of Lethbridge is taking a stand against bullying. Jordan Schielenberg was at City Hall today to ask for council's support in the I Stand Against initiative. They are asking residents to write the words I Stand Against on their hands between February 20th and 27th. They say educating people is the first step towards ending bullying.
I'll be honest that we do have lots of bullying situations that have happened in the past, and it continues to happen. And we just knew we had to do something, and we've seen a positive reaction to it, where they are taking a stand and they're maybe a little bit more conscious of what's going on around them.
For more information on the campaign, you can visit their website at istandagainst.com. Dori's in the Weather Center, and Dori, a little warmer than I had expected it to be today. Kind of a surprise there.
Yeah, well, we were expecting highs of about -2, which is below average for this time of year. We managed to get up to the freezing mark at 0, so, any warmth is a bonus. We also got some sunshine this afternoon after all that cloud cover this morning from that upper trough moving across, and I'll tell you what we have in the forecast menu coming up in a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks, Dori. A Raymond couple facing criminal charges is getting some help with legal costs. This is video of little Zeke Stephan taking his first steps. Months later, he was dead of meningitis. Zeke's parents have been charged for failing to provide the necessities of life. The allegation is that they didn't take their son to a doctor soon enough. But the Stephans say their son's death could have been prevented and point the finger at Alberta Health Services, who dispatched an ambulance from 40 minutes away. The community is planning a fundraiser for next month to help the Stephans with their legal costs. For more information, you can visit the Facebook page Prayers for Ezekiel. A German skier has died in an avalanche in Invermere. The man was in a group of heli skiers hit by a wall of snow near Jumbo Mountain yesterday afternoon. 3 men from Germany were buried. A heli guide and other skiers managed to dig 2 of them out, but a 34-year-old man could not be revived. He was pronounced dead at Invermere Hospital. RCMP say the men were experienced backcountry skiers and were wearing beacons. Two police officers escaped serious injury after a vehicle slammed into their cruiser during a traffic stop. Mounties pulled over a car this morning along this stretch of Crow's Nest Trail near 19th Street. As their cruiser was parked on the shoulder, a pickup slammed into it, pushing the RCMP vehicle into the car. The officers were treated on scene. 56-year-old Derek Tylan made his first court appearance this morning, charged with 4 dangerous driving and alcohol-related offenses. Police say alcohol had nothing to do with a fatal crash near Fort Macleod this morning. An SUV rolled just after 9 north of Fort Macleod along Highway 811. A 22-year-old woman was the only person in the vehicle. Police say she lost control and rolled numerous times. So far, no word on the cause, but officers say alcohol is not to blame. There is an old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Rental scams continue to pop up all over the province, and police are warning would-be renters to be wary of the so-called bargains. Jeanette Roche reports.
When Rose Stafford recently surfed the net for a place to live, she came across an ad on Kijiji that seemed too good to be true. A 3-bedroom home in South Lethbridge listed for $960 a month, including all utilities.
So I responded to it and got a response from a gentleman in the States stating that him and his family had just moved to Michigan and they were looking to rent this place out.
The alleged landlord told Stafford he could send her a rental agreement, but wanted her to send a damage deposit without first seeing the house in person.
And he told me he didn't have anybody in town that was available to show me the premises, but everything was good, and then I'd be able to tell that by the pictures on the site.
Stafford says she was sent a rental agreement, which was full of discrepancies and cited a California security deposit code, which doesn't even apply in Alberta, and included what appeared to be a phony address for the landlord.
I looked it up, and the address that he'd given me for his home address on Google turned out to be a school in Michigan.
Stafford says he then demanded the $700 security deposit from her.
The house is actually located only a half a block from Stafford's mother's house, and when she drove past one day, she discovered that it had been listed for sale.
The company that listed the house for sale says the rental ad on Kijiji is a scam.
You should be meeting people in person, seeing the product and exchanging in cash.
And Sergeant Christy Woods says scammers are getting more sophisticated.
Unfortunately, it's evolved because of the internet. People from other countries can easily access any of the advertisements or sites and pretend or portray themselves to be someone that they're not and claim rights to properties that they have no interest in.
Stafford never did send the money, but says she's worried someone else will.
Always double check. That's why I said I just kept double checking, and especially when I got the lease and there was so many indiscrepancies in the lease itself, it was like, yeah, nope, not going there.
Jeanette Roche, CTV News, Lethbridge.
And the ad has now been removed from Kijiji. A 3-month operation by the Alert Task Force has taken nearly $18,000 worth of drugs off the streets. 40-year-old Eldon John Myers and 42-year-old Charlene Jennifer Kane, along with 36-year-old Brandy Mae Sokol, each face numerous charges and will appear in court later this month. Police call it another small victory in their war on drugs. Police have charged a 32-year-old man with assault, mischief, and causing a disturbance after he allegedly entered a business along the 900 block of 3rd Avenue South. He was apparently intoxicated and attempted to enter the kitchen area. When staff tried to stop him, he began shouting and throwing items. 32-year-old Neil Healy will appear in court on March 27th. Tonight on Farm TV, a look at how fresh produce from southern Alberta ends up in restaurants and stores in Banff and Calgary.
Each week, Gallamax Trading delivers fresh farm produce from southern Alberta farms to fine restaurants and stores in Calgary and Banff. In early 2013, they held a grand opening open house at their new office and distribution center in Nobleford.
Basically a gathering point for products from local producers. And we put the loads together. Of course, it's not a storage facility. It is just a working facility to put the loads together. The farmers deliver their stuff here. Everything is pre-sold, so we don't buy from them unless we have it sold.
Each week, Rudy emails the local producers what is needed.
Right, so they know exactly. Twice a week I email them, tell them what I need, and where it is going. And they deliver then, and we put it together, and that's it. Because the secret of this business is that we don't have inventory.
Rudy works closely with farmers and the chefs of some of the finest restaurants to establish a fair price for the produce.
I set the price together with them. We do it together. We work very closely with some chefs. The ones we also are open-minded and also have the best of the farmer at heart. And it's usually a lot more than what they get. They're all around.
Farm TV is brought to you by DA Building Systems.
Alberta researchers say they've dealt a huge blow to a serious illness. That's coming up in medical news. First, here is a look at today's market numbers.